Dystopia warning. Obviously. I think you know what I'm going to be talking about today, don't you? So yesterday, Elon Musk and Trump went at it, didn't they? In a fight that was equal parts hilarious and equal parts depressing. Millions of us reached for the popcorn while simultaneously wondering who we must have shagged past life to end up reincarnated on this timeline. Like the rest of the internet, I was sitting there waiting like Willy Wonka in suspense for Elon Musk to huff another line of K and just let rip. Although to be fair, he did blow his beans pretty early by calling Donald Trump a nonce. Millions of us eagerly refreshed Twitter. An app nowadays that is loosely held together by sellotape, runs about as efficiently as your home PC in the 90s, and is moderated, if you can call it that, by a 4chan deepfaker that wears a white hood. Let's all go back to X, said nobody. Let's all go back to Twitter, they said. Its real name, not the new name that sounds like an interplanetary brothel. Although nowadays Twitter is like Truth Social meets an SS team building weekend. And that most people only bother with if there's a terrorist attack, if another app is down, or if they have a profound pain kink. And no, that's not why I'm still there. And my dear long-suffering viewers, something quite magical occurred. It was like the good old days before old Ketamine Kev took over. Twitter did what it was supposed to do, what it was built to do, and facilitated piss-taking on an epic scale. It was like the World War I Christmas truce. The bots paused. Peace rang out. The memes flowed. Except instead of watching warring soldiers coming together for a little kickabout, it was like watching two Hitlers just totally kicking the shit out of each other as we all laughed from the sidelines. Anyway, let's take a look at this depressing timeline, shall we? It all started with Musk donating to Trump's 2024 election campaign, the biggest individual donor, aka buying power, like billionaires always have, but they've just not always been this brazen about it. Then he got handed a job in Doge, though I pronounce it dodgy, because he fired loads of civil servants, gutted the departments, and stole all of the American people's data. Yeah, he did, whilst also employing, the descendants of Russian spies. Anyway, fast forward June 2025. The bromance fades during Pride Month. Elon Musk slams Donald Trump's big beautiful bill. I'm not joking, that's what he's f***ing called it. But does he slam the policy for essentially playing out Robin Hood in reverse? For cutting social programs, education, reducing healthcare and support for the poor, whilst giving tax breaks to the richest? Anyone checked on Liz Truss? Because she must be coming into a rag over this. Oh yeah, and it will add billions to the federal deficit. Is his objection moral? No. He's worried it'll remove EV tax credits, cut clean energy funding, and affect his profits, of course. And what did Trump do in return? Well, he responded publicly, didn't he? It was like your Aunt Cheryl and your mum in the early days of Facebook, airing all their dirty laundry in public for everybody to see, despite only living a couple of doors away from each other. Trump decided to call Elon Musk unstable, yet said nothing whilst literally handing him a golden key to the nation as Musk, with a black eye, gurned and swayed like he was at a 1980s acid house rave. Then threatened to axe his billions in federal contracts like a jilted sugar daddy that's been refused a blowy. There's a picture of Trump doing the old imaginary tits hand gesture, much like he probably did on his alleged victims. Anyway, the wheels came off. Fully. Musk starts floating the idea of a new political party for the 80% in the middle, which in billionaire speak means anyone that I'm able to efficiently radicalise with my fash bots. Then boom, he says it. He posts this on Twitter. Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they've not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Yeah, he goes full Epstein files, doesn't he? Beans blown. Except the problem with this is he simultaneously outs himself. You can't cry pedo and then claim that you're somehow the hero when you literally funded him to the tune of $270 million. So you knew all along, but you still took the job and you still chose to bring your child, aka your human shield, into the White House. Trump hit back, called Musk crazy. Bit on the nose, isn't it? Coming from Donald Trump, the guy that suggested that we should nuke hurricanes and inject bleach to combat COVID-19. Oh yeah, and he also gave Elon Musk a job. Briefly interrupting proceedings here, a little birdie tells me, mostly YouTube analytics, that despite you watching my videos, some of you don't subscribe. YouTube's been snitching on you, bruv. So if you like watching an English woman ripping 2 shades of out of US and UK politicians, please like, please subscribe, thank you. Enjoy my content whilst you can, because I tell you, I'm 2 steps away from getting pushed out of a hospital window or asphyxie wanked off a door handle with an orange in my mouth, dressed in a clown suit. Although FYI, Russian agents, the last one is precisely how I'd want to go. Anyway, please like and subscribe, you fannies. What happened next? Musk called for Donald Trump to be impeached. All on Twitter, obviously, in reply to this tweet. Then he threatened to decommission the Dragon spacecraft, which NASA relies on, apparently. Then someone tweeted, maybe don't, Elon. And Musk used that as an opportunity to climb down faster than Trump's trousers at Epstein's townhouse. Meanwhile, Tesla's stock tanked, losing 150 billion in under 24 hours. The internet continued to try and make Twitter work, so they could post meme after meme, just ripping the absolute piss out of both of them. I mean, seriously, try and imagine explaining this to someone in 1998. So yeah, the biggest news story, mate, of June 2025 is a weird billionaire, the richest guy in the world, off his tits on ket. What's ketamine, you ask? Oh, that's the thing that will eventually ruin the rave scene. Yes, I know, normally they all do coke, but this is... Anyway, let me carry on. There's this guy called Elon. Yeah, I know. Elon. Musk. I know, it gets worse. And he has paid loads of money to make Donald Trump president again. Again. Yeah, I know. What's Twitter? Well, there's going to be this thing, you see, called social media. Like dating apps. It's a program on the computer that's going to bring out the worst in society and ruin human connection, possibly forever. Anyway. Oh yeah, and another thing. This place called Twitter, right? Full of fucking pedants who, when you post this in the future, this is getting a bit convoluted now, will point out that Twitter wasn't even created in 1998. Anyway, person from 1998, the key thing to take away from this is that it's never going to get better than what you're living now. Enjoy the goodies and the raves whilst you can, because the future is a fucking shit show. One of the most disturbing and enraging parts of all of this for me was once again rich men using sexual crimes as a gotcha, not a moral obligation. Pointing out the allegations like Epstein, etc. It was a power play. It wasn't said with any concern whatsoever for the victims and the many people that have alleged abuse by Trump. It was just Elon Musk in regrettamine fairyland throwing shit at a mushroom-dicked caricature of Pat Butcher. Quite common on the right, really, when they're not covering up the crimes for each other. I mean, just look at the possibly latent, possibly closeted Lawrence Fox. He's implied that he's sitting on dirt about Nigel Farage. Don't know the content of that dirt. He's using it as insurance against Nigel Farage. Whereas if he had any form of conscience, he would release it now. No, he claims he's holding on to it until the next general election. Another example of this is Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Same pattern, coded references to abuse and NDAs when their bromance inevitably failed. This is people like MAGA, Fox, Reform, who claim to be all white is right, that immigrant men are going to steal your daughters. Or some of them either ignore traffickers, join forces with them, hello, that picture of Farage, Trump helping out the Tates, and actively cover up the abuse of women and girls. Because it's fine when white men do it, isn't it? Just like the EDL and all of their offenders. Robinson doesn't focus on them though, does he? Now, before I wrap up my overview of this depressing yet funny shit show, I want to talk about what some people are discussing in terms of a potential coup to force out Donald Trump and replace him with J.D. Vance. Yeah, that's right. The couch shagger. The guy that I unaffectionately referred to as Big Head Baby Guyliner. I mean, as we saw, Musk publicly endorsed a call to remove Donald Trump and install J.D. Vance. Sorry, I can't stop laughing at the thought. As the heir to the far-right throne. Although I probably shouldn't be laughing, because it wouldn't get better. Nothing ever gets better nowadays, it just gets massively worse. You see, Peter Thiel, aka the Palantir mob boss, backed Vance with $15 million and has been kind of drip feeding his ideal of a kind of like tech-based authoritarian dictatorship. Both of them linked to the Heritage Foundation, a shadowy group of which a number of particularly mad British MPs are happy to shill for. They're also the people responsible for Project 2025, which formed the literal blueprint for authoritarian MAGA misrule in America. I'm going to go into this in more detail because I'm compiling a list on Peter Thiel. But it's important to know that lurking behind all of this is a former blogger, kind of reminiscent of when Trump got his tariff ideas by literally getting an aide to scan Amazon book titles and covers. And who's this blogger that I'm referring to? Curtis Yarvin, who is essentially pushing CEO global rule, like Elon Musk's doctor pushes nose drugs, apparently. He wrote under the anonymous pseudonym Mencius Moldbug, and they all obviously took him seriously. But he wrote a manifesto. Now tell me, does this sound familiar? A total reboot of the social order, the liquidation of democracy, and the eventual transfer of power to a CEO-in-chief, someone like Steve Jobs at the time, was suggested, because this was 2008, who would transform the government into a heavily armed, ultra-profitable corporation. Now tell me this sounds familiar. This new regime would set off public schools, destroy universities, abolish the press, and imprison decivilised populations. It would also fire civil servants en masse, a policy Moldberg later called RAGE, as in retire all government employees. Oh yeah, and it would also discontinue international relations, including security guarantees, foreign aid, and mass immigration. It's fucking Doge. They're running the US into the ground. Fired government officials, experienced government officials, planes falling out of the air, people dying from hurricanes and tornadoes because they're not getting the warnings. A big, beautiful bill that will hand more money and resources to the billionaires whilst decimating basic resources afforded to the poorest in society. And what's happened since Pat Butcher and Peggy Mitchell scrapped it out? Absolutely nothing. It's been cricket since. Musk is trying to make amends because 150 billion was wiped off his share prices in one day. Billionaires only care about stock, not whether or not the guy that they're backing touched kids. It's like the worst situationship of 2025. You're my hero. You're a toddler toucher. Want to continue to ruin the world? Yeah, why not? And as they continue to scrap it out, we're being told that immigrants are the real predators, not the elites, on Epstein's flight log. Same as it ever was. They need each other if their plan's going to succeed. And what is their plan? Naked corruption? Obvious profiteering? Aspirations of global domination? CEOs running the world? It's never about justice or morality. They're two billionaires. It's about who holds the receipts or who gets to delete them. Do you know what I think this all is? Do you want to know what my professional opinion is? We're obviously all living in a fucking simulation, aren't we? What a time to be alive. I mean, there is something to be thankful for, I suppose. The reality that Musk definitely hasn't stolen all of the US citizens' data and that Donald Trump doesn't have access to the nuclear codes. Oh shit. Until next time, don't have nightmares.